RSL Nation, welcome back to the Bros
Woo!
Woo! Welcome back, everybody.
plus one.
Welcome. Hello.
We have another plus one. We like having these plus ones because it makes the conversation a little bit more interesting. Because sorry, Marcus, it's not like I get bored of you, but it's nice to add an additional
Yeah,
opinion,
the more the merrier to this show.
Oh,
right? Christian, welcome. Quick introduction to Christian. Actually, I'm gonna let Christian introduce himself.
I'm the RSL Bros cousin.
There we go.
That
So
that that's it.
you are the RSL cousin. There you go.
RS, yeah.
New Twitter handle.
We'll see.
The Oh,
Hmm.
come on. Um
Hmm.
guys, this is gonna be a lot of fun. Christian, you've been my cousin my whole life, and I've been your cousin your whole life.
I sure hope so. He's been
Yep.
our cousin
Yep.
our whole life.
The entire time. The
The entire time.
entire time.
No breaks. And Christian is a huge soccer fan just like we are. Um we could get into a debate on if he's a bigger fan than us, but we would be here all night.
I
The
bet
only
my
the,
jersey collection is way better than yours.
the
That
the
I
only
won't deny.
downfall is he is a Man U fan, though.
That is a downfall. We'll get into
I'm
we'll
not
get
I'm
we'll
not
get into that.
apologizing for that.
We'll get into that because we have some actually some Man U topics we want to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of
Mm.
all the topics, again, we have a lot of topics because we can't stop talking soccer.
Yeah,
But
even though it's off season for RSL, we got stuff to talk about.
so
It
we
doesn't
have
stop,
no,
Soccer never stops.
never stops.
which is perfect.
That's what's great about living in the United States. I mean, off topic now. What's great about living in the United States is that European soccer is from August to May ish.
Yeah,
Standard
Here,
school year.
here is excellent. So standard school
accurate.
year. Here in the United States, we go from March to October. So that means the months that are missing from Europe, we still have soccer here.
Thank you, Champions League.
What? No, not Champions League.
Well, Champions League and then the regular season.
Thank you, summer. Thank you, Northern Hemisphere summer,
Yeah,
and you MLS. But anyways, the topics of today. Are you guys ready for this?
lay it
I'm
on us.
ready. Let's go.
So apparently, there's we're gonna have some new rules coming out within the next couple of years. New
Ooh.
rules.
Hmm.
We're gonna talk about this new rule, how it affects the game, and how new rules have affected the game. If you guys can name off some new rules when we get to that point that have come out within the last 10, 15 years. Start thinking about that. We're gonna talk about referee controversies. Apparently, the topic of referees is really big right now, not only in RSL Twitter, but in like soccer Twitter in general. So we're gonna talk
Yeah.
about that. We're gonna talk about MLS playoffs and the referee controversies, plus some other topics around MLS playoffs. We'll get into some RSL offseason chatter with we'll add Christian into this because we want his thoughts on RSL offseason. And then we have some other lingering soccer topics we want to talk about. Just throw
Ooh,
these out there.
my friend, I think you forgot the most important thing of all.
Oh, what?
Our update of our bracket challenge.
Yes, we'll get to that. But in the MLS playoffs,
We gotta let everybody know how bad I'm losing at the bracket challenge.
it's great. It's great. Well, let's dive into it. There's a new rule apparently that's forming. Not only you guys have heard of the Wenger offside rule, right? The
Mm-hmm. Yep,
Arsene Wenger new rule. Okay,
Right.
correct.
we're not going to talk about that one because that one is going to be pretty complicated. But we're talking about a sin bin. Yeah,
Mm.
a sin bin. I mean, I need your guys' first thoughts on this. Christian, what is your first thought of a sin bin?
I mean, I think hockey. Um,
Right?
and football slash soccer, it's just a different sport. I honestly I enjoy watching games of hockey. I think they're fun, they're exciting, but they're different.
Mm-hmm.
And soccer, soccer doesn't need a sin bin. That I don't know. It just doesn't sit right. Doesn't
Mar-
feel right.
Marcos, what do you think of a sin bin?
Yeah, kind of going off of Christian. I don't think that we need to add any more things to this game of soccer. Like we just barely added VAR a couple years back before the World Cup, and I just don't think that another thing needs to be applied here.
All right, how about this, guys? I am actually not against a sin bin. Now,
Really?
get
Explain.
get get this. Get this. You guys have played indoor soccer, right?
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. Obviously.
In, indoor soccer has a sin bin.
Yep, you got the blue cards.
You have your blue card. How many minutes is that?
It's been a hot second.
Yeah, it has been.
2 minutes, is it?
Yeah, it's 2 minutes. So blue card is 2 minutes. I mean, what would it look like if there was a sin bin? What do you guys? I didn't read the whole rule or the whole theory of it, but when you hear sin bin, how do you think it would, or what do you think it would look like in MLS? We'll talk MLS.
I just feel like you'd have somebody who'd get a sin bin, get out, and then they just immediately just go back in right afterwards. And I'd be afraid mostly of them just keep doing that foul over and over again instead of whereas you'd get like a yellow card or a red card and they'd be taken out of the game.
Okay, Christian.
I kind of agree with Marcos there. It doesn't seem like it's a lasting repercussion during a game. If anything, they know they can commit a certain type of foul and sit for 5. I think the proposed rule is 10 minutes.
But
Eh,
think of this: 10 minutes. How much does that affect the game? Going down a man for 10 minutes.
That's true. That's true.
It depends. Some teams can adjust very well. If we're
Yeah.
talking MLS, you take a look at a team like LAFC. LAFC can adjust very, very well. If they're down for 10 minutes without a man, I wouldn't worry about it too much.
Now, what about this? Now, instead of making, like, for instance, instead of making it a red card, you make it an orange card and you make the team play down a man for 10 minutes. That's a pretty good. I mean, instead of being down the rest of the game, if it's like a first half red card and you're down the whole game, it's only 10 minutes. But the thing is, if that person gets another card, then they get ejected. So either it's a double yellow or a yellow orange converts into a red card. But the orange card would be like an in between, like that's a bad foul, but it's not enough to get you ejected the whole game. Or maybe we do an orange card for something that's not violent conduct.
Yeah, I like that idea better of something that's a not violent conduct. But don't you feel like this is just messing up with the whole thing of soccer, just changing the rules every couple of years? It's just keep the consistency.
Well, how about this? Let's bring up some rule changes throughout the years that have affected the game. Can you guys think of what's the oldest rule change you guys can think of?
Um,
Like, I'm talking about history of soccer. Which one has
oh
affected the game
man,
the most? Or which one has affected the game enough to be significant?
I would say I would say probably VAR. We've seen like from this past World Cup in 2022, how many calls got changed. Like we saw, I think it was the Japan game where we saw the ball like looked like it was crossed the line, but it wasn't. And we've seen that in Champions League so far. So VAR has been huge, especially like in offside as well.
Okay, yeah, that's a more recent one. That's a VAR has definitely changed the game. We can't deny that. Christian, can you think of a rule change?
man. I,
I have one in my head.
mm, I think I think one of the COVID rule changes with additional substitutes.
Ooh,
Yeah, yeah.
That
that's
was
a
a
good one.
that was a pretty significant one because it added a like it allows for more strategy and allows for bigger changes if needed. And I think that was a subtle one that they could have taken away. They easily could have taken it away. It's like, oh, COVID's over. But no, they left it in. I think
That's a good one. Now I'm gonna go way old. Like I'm
Hmm.
gonna go into the 70s and 80s.
Ooh.
Before I and I'm totally bummed I didn't look this up before. I can't remember what year, but the rule before was the goalkeeper could handle the ball for as long as he wanted and could receive a pass back from his defender and pick it up. That
Huh.
that caused the game to just be total like bust. It was like
Oh yeah.
if you're winning, you just pass it back to the keeper and the keeper would just hold it. Just hold the whole time. And there was
Yeah.
no rule with the amount of time that he could hold it. And then they changed it in I think the late 80s where it now is the keeper can't handle it on a pass back from a teammate and it's 6 seconds.
That is definitely a rule that I'm glad that got changed because could you imagine nowadays
Oh my
how much
gosh.
time wasting we would have?
Now, what I'm thinking of a rule change that I didn't like. And I don't like it to this day. Is there a rule change that you guys can think of that you don't like to this day that has affected too much the game and now it's like ruining it? I'll go
Mm,
first, just to give you guys an idea. Celebrations, taking off the jersey, and it's a yellow card. I do not
Yes,
like that.
Yeah.
definitely agree. Players need to be able to celebrate.
I mean, how much more passionate was the game when you could celebrate just ripping off your jersey and just running around naked?
Ooh, I've got one.
Go.
We saw this implemented in last year's World Cup. The additional extra time added, the additional stoppage time added by
Yep.
referees. I'm not blaming this on referees. I'm blaming
No,
this
no.
on the interpretation of the rule and just how much freaking time. Because the thing is, towards the end of halves, at the end of games, you extend risk to the players for injury.
Okay, I can see that.
Exactly.
And you allow Mexico to score against Honduras in the 98th minute and get unfair qualifications to the Copa America.
It's facts. Facts.
Facts.
What?
So we can see that rule changes have affected soccer a lot. I mean, the soccer that me and Christian used to watch in the late 90s is not the same as the soccer now. Marcus, you didn't watch soccer until like you got into junior high.
Yeah, I was not that well. I was not lucky enough to watch 2002 World Cup.
No, 2002 World Cup, man.
Japan, Korea.
Can we talk about that for like 30 seconds? I stayed up almost all night that
Yeah,
whole month.
I feel sad missing that beautiful World Cup of David Beckham.
Yeah, why didn't you wake up? Like we were
He
living in the
barely
same
woke
house.
up for this.
Man, Christian's dropping
It's-
facts. It's true. It's true.
Yeah, you barely woke up for this. This is true.
No, but you're right. Looking back, I was 7 years old, and I'm like, why? Why did I not wake up to experience a beautiful World Cup in 2002?
Well, I mean, I can tell you why, because the games were at 12:30, 3:30, and 5:30.
Well, yeah, same as this past World Cup in Qatar. So,
Was it the same?
Only a couple of them were that early.
Yeah,
Like Argentina and Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, the first game was that early.
yeah, but
Can you believe we're already a year? Or like it's been a
I
year
still
since
get emotional watching the videos.
we're 3 weeks away from the beautiful anniversary.
guys.
Ugh.
I'm gonna be in Argentina for the anniversary.
Yeah,
Ugh.
if you see Messi,
I'm not gonna see Messi.
just can you just knock on his front door?
Messi's in Disney World right now.
Well, but
Messi is
Messi,
in Disney World.
but
Good for
Messi,
him, by the way. Like he's enjoying life. Like you can tell he's less stressed than he used to
Like
be.
he is in the happiest place on earth, the happiest man on. He's the king.
we all want to be like Messi. That's the thing. So with all these new rule changes and us complaining about these rules, let's get into some referee controversies that we've
Absolutely.
seen the past week in multiple competitions.
First one I got to talk about because I watched it live.
Do it.
PSG Newcastle. That
Okay.
penalty
What do you
given
think?
at the end. Absolutely not a penalty.
Why?
Because the runner was in a natural motion, wasn't a handball. It should not have been a penalty.
Okay. Marcos, did you watch it or no?
I did watch it. I agree with Christian. So
Okay. So here's the thing here with all these referee controversies. And it actually goes with the poll that we put out is what was the question that I asked? I always forget these questions. What your biggest issue is with referees? So the biggest complaint that people have with referees is inconsistency.
I definitely see that. I see that.
And so to your point, Christian, with this game, um, the inconsistency comes from the difference between what UEFA or FIFA is asking and what IFAB has in the law book. Because how the referee originally called that PK, saying that it wasn't a PK, was correct for me. Because, like you said, first off, it was natural position, natural movement, because the ball hit off his body and hit him in the arm. What is he gonna do? I mean, what do you want? And on top of that, it hit him in the upper arm, which you can't really like move your upper arm very many places. But they were told to call those by FIFA.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why VAR got involved and said, "Hey, this is actually what they want us to call." And so that this whole thing is like wiggity whack. I mean, can you understand why people are complaining?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there needs to be one standard, and they like understand that, obviously FIFA, they're the authority, and they need to get together with IFAB and make sure that it's consistent, that the goals are parallel. The goals of refereeing should be to ensure a good and equitable match between two sides.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's kind of sad that it's not just in one league; it's in multiple leagues. Whether it's in Premier League, MLS, La Liga, we've been seeing this kind of inconsistency across the board, and it's kind of sad. We just want to see the same throughout.
I mean, me coming from a referee background, I can see why it's so confusing for referees to figure out how the game needs to be called. But the fan base is getting frustrated because the referees are getting different interpretations of what needs to be called, and that's why that's where the inconsistency is coming from, is that one referee calls it one way, another referee calls it the other way. Both are technically right, but at the same time both are technically wrong.
Yeah,
and you're like,
yeah.
Stop it.
Give me the right answer.
And it's super frustrating watching. And now going into the MLS playoffs real quick, we had a couple of games this past weekend. Houston, Sporting, and what was the other one? Philly, and
it was Philly and Cincinnati.
That's right, Cincy. So we'll start with the Cincy Philly one. Marcus, do you remember what the controversy was in that one?
I am drawing a blank. Remind me, what was the controversy in that one?
Offside.
Oh, the offside. Correct.
So here's the thing with the offside, because of how like minute the offside was, the naked eye can't catch it.
No.
Technology that they had wasn't enough to overturn it. Right? I mean, can you call an offside that's barely inside the area, but the camera angle is square with the 18?
You really can't.
I mean, your angle is skewed.
Yeah.
So what do people expect out of the referees in that situation?
Godlike powers, obviously.
I mean, it literally comes down to they want them to like come. I have a feeling people think that VAR has like secret cameras that they're not showing. And
see, it would be nice when it comes to VAR to have multiple angles to the backside, the other side, the fan view, like multiple angles. But I don't think they only have like that one angle.
I don't know, the VAR technology that I see watching multiple leagues is the VAR technology is inconsistent, which doesn't help either. The quality of VAR technologies that we see between like, the Cincy Philadelphia game and like Galatasaray Manchester United today.
Yeah. Well,
The
I mean, get this. Argentina delayed the implementation of VAR for a long time only because there were many stadiums in the for in what do you say, first division that didn't have the capabilities of having so many camera angles. And so when all the stadiums are not equal in terms of the amount of cameras and the angles that can be provided, I think that is also contributing to the inconsistencies with the referee decisions.
No, but going back to the Cincy Philadelphia game, I definitely think that costed the game. Like that costed Philadelphia a goal, and they could have definitely come back and maybe, who knows if they could have won, if they gone to extra time, gone to PKs, but unfortunate.
Going back to that offside call, there's a Twitter account that measures out. I forgot the name of the Twitter account, but they measure out all the offsides to figure out how offside people are. The offside on this one was roughly 3 inches. I mean,
Ooh.
do you know how big is 3 inches? I mean, we're talking
depends who you
maybe.
ask.
I mean, do you know what? When I asked that, I was like, crap, this is not the question I want to ask, but I'm asking. I mean, we're talking maybe that big, or like my middle finger is maybe an inch and no, 2 inches. Yeah, 2 inches. So that much. We're talking minute.
Just barely 3 inches.
Which I think this is why Arsene Wenger wants to implement the rule where the forward has to be cleared of the defender's line of bodiness. I mean, it makes sense because to the naked eye, 3 inches you're not going to see.
No.
I've refereed. I've been a linesman up to USL Pro, and when you're moving that fast, you're not going to see 3 inches difference.
No. I definitely agree. I think that would be a nice rule to apply into the league, because just that small of a difference is just so hard to tell in that fast of a game.
Yeah. Then the other one, SKC in Houston. That was a booger. First off, let's just get this out of the way. We didn't want either one of them in that game.
Nope.
Just seeing that scoreline, I'm like, that could have been us. That could have been us.
How both of them were playing, I think RSL. I mean, RSL later in the season, like when they got the motivation, like when we played at home. Well, actually, we would have been playing at home if we would have
would
won.
have been playing at home. Yeah, we had home field.
We would have won that game 3-0. Easy.
Oh, easily. Like Kansas City, they didn't show up at all in that game. It was literally just a kind of a cakewalk for Houston.
And the thing that's annoying is that, I hate to admit this, but Houston played with consistency the entire season, and they played with decent consistency the entire season.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that was enough to get them over a sporting Kansas team that is very spurty.
We talked about this a couple episodes ago, that Houston actually got really good after Leagues Cup. What happened to them in Leagues Cup? They were eliminated, I think, early, either in group play or after the first round.
It was the knockout stage that got knocked out.
So the first game of the knockout stage. They had so much time to regroup and figure out what their plan was. Literally, they came out of League Cup. They beat us twice in a row. They advanced in the US Open Cup. They won US Open Cup, also winning their
and then they just
season game.
They flipped the switch in the regular season, because I think they're like really low, and then they jumped up to all of a sudden 4th place.
Yeah. So, I mean, flip. I hate when that happens when it's against us.
I really hope, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I hope Houston does. I kind of hope Houston goes to the MLS Cup, not win it all, but goes and beats LAFC. I don't want to see LAFC go to the MLS Cup again.
I don't mind, to be honest. I mean, literally, I don't mind LAFC. In fact, because the amount of times that Houston beat us this season, I want LAFC to beat them just to
But
throw them off their high horse.
I'd
Don't
rather
really,
see I'd rather see a Cincinnati or a Columbus win it in the end.
I'd rather my pick overall right now is Cincinnati. They haven't won it before. They're playing very well. Yeah, my
Can
overall
you
pick is Cincinnati.
imagine if Houston won MLS Cup? They'd win 2 out of the 3 trophies without even placing above third place. I mean,
That
what was their standing in the supporter shield?
Oh,
um
let's take a look.
Yeah, that'd be an interesting one. Um,
they
love
were
when
ninth.
9th in the supporter shield standing, and
1 point behind RSL. I mean, 1 point ahead of RSL. Excuse me.
bro, that's
That would be
yeah,
wild.
that'd be wild. 2 trophies, and they're like middle of the table,
And
or
people were saying Ben Olsen isn't a good coach.
he isn't.
He,
He's not.
he's almost at the same level as Berhalter.
Look, for me, Ben Olsen and Pablo are about the same.
Every American coach in the MLS is like the same and feels like.
Yeah. Any former U.S. national, yeah. But oh yeah, we haven't even gotten to the controversy in that game. We got sidetracked.
Matt Miazga.
No, not that one. Not that one. That one's coming up. The KC Houston one was the handball.
Oh,
Okay. Now, for you guys, I don't know if you guys watched instant replay or what do they call it now? It's instant replay, right?
It's still instant replay.
Okay. Without referring to that, what are your guys' thoughts on the handball situation?
I saw handball.
You thought it was a handball?
let me pull it up again real quick.
Because so Marcus, you're saying that it should have been called a handball. It was not called a handball.
Yeah, I think it should have been called a handball.
If that was
Oh, wait. This was a hand of God situation.
no, this wasn't a hand of God situation.
He blocked the goal with his hand.
All right, no, let's talk about this.
It's a Luis Suarez. Sorry, it's a
It's
a Suarez situation.
Okay.
He's channeling his inner Luis Suarez.
Not as blatant as Suarez. Not as blatant as Suarez. I don't think it was necessarily.
Okay.
I don't know if
Yeah.
it was necessarily intentional or blatant as Suarez, but
Okay.
he was still using his hands.
No, let's talk about this. All right. You guys are jumping to conclusions. Here I'm like the only referee in this building. I'm like, no, stop. Okay. The guy goes to stand, block the goal, or the shot. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Now, the arm is down to the side, right?
right.
Now, when it shows away from the body in the slow-mo version, I think that is after the ball hits his arm. Therefore, it causes a reaction to move, and then it obviously comes back. I don't think his arm was ever away from his body, at least where the ball hit it, which we don't know exactly where it hit him, because when they show the side angle from I think like midfield or something, the side angle, it's like somewhere around this area, but we don't know if it like hits his body and arm. If it just hits the arm, we don't know that. From the backside, you don't know where the flip the ball hits. All you see is the arm rebounding, wiggling a little bit. So with those two camera angles as the only angles that we have, can you 100% call a PK?
Obviously, you can't, because they'd have to overturn whatever was called on the field originally. But from my vantage point, from what I saw, it looked like the arm was already sticking out like that. So,
Christian,
I'm literally looking at the clip right now. So the thing that makes it sketchy for me is that in the moment of the shot, the arm is moving backwards.
yeah. Yeah,
So
see,
so when it's
But
moving
it
backward,
is moving into a position to be lined up against the body.
I mean, that's the thing. It's a natural movement of a defender running into place, and he's coming in, and
I
and
can see that.
and if there's any movement, if he's moving anywhere to make himself quote unquote bigger, is to put his arms into his body. Where else do you want his body? And here's another thing: if the ball was hit in his upper arm, kind of elbow, if you put your arms behind your back,
it's
your
obviously gonna
upper
it's gonna hit your elbow.
your upper arms are still showing.
Yeah.
So the people that say, well, he could have put his arms behind his back, I'm sorry, I can't. I mean, do you want me to put my there we go. I put my upper arms behind my back. Um, it just is not feasible.
Yeah,
No.
after reviewing that a couple of times, I'm actually gonna have to agree. I think that was a good no call.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's first off, it was a no call because I don't think he saw it. First off, that's my opinion. I don't think he saw it. Now, VAR is where that's where the interpretation comes in, and they interpret it as it's not in clear and obvious error.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So as much as
And I think that's fair.
as much as I thought it was a handball, it was a good no call by the referee. So good job by the center ref and the VAR there.
Marcos, you would are what we call a panqueque.
Whoop, 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 whoop.
You did this last week with Sarah too. Do you remember that?
I did.
Yeah, because I mean everyone remembers it because everyone, if you watch the clip, it was Marcos flipping on the Luna situation. Marcos, we're gonna call you Panqueque from now on.
Last thing on this Houston KC game.
Change subjects fast.
No, but I think this is the first time Houston all season filled their stadium. Like
Oh yeah, there were still empty seats though.
it's just sad for a freaking semifinal game. You can't even fill a stadium. Ah,
I
poor
mean,
poor fan base of Houston.
I mean, to compare, the Rockets suck right now. They're getting over the Astros, losing the ALCS, and the Texans are starting to become good, and Houston fans don't know what to do right now.
well, I need to ask you. You lived in Houston for many years.
I did.
Um,
Yeah.
were you there when the Dynamo started?
They were a team when I was down there, but I was an RSL guy, so I didn't pay attention to Houston.
You were in the days of Brian Ching.
Ching?
Oh, Brian Chang. What?
Brian Chang?
Chang.
Brian Ching?
Chang.
I don't know. I'm not even gonna start guessing. I know who you're talking about though. You were there until you graduated from high school, and the Dynamo started there in 2006, I think.
2006 or 2007.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you if there was any talk of Dynamo-ness, but since you were only there till you graduated from high school, then
Yeah, I left in 2010, and
yeah,
unfortunately, I've not been back yet.
yeah. Well, someday. Maybe to go see RSL Houston.
That would be fun, or maybe next summer during the Copa America.
Except it's not in Houston. Oh, will it be in Houston?
Yeah, I'm pretty.
Well,
aren't there?
December 7th, we'll find out all the venues.
Okay,
that's
NRG Stadium is on the list.
I really hope so. I hope so.
And
Yep.
they're a confirmed venue for the World Cup in 2026.
Okay.
Give
That
us
is a nice
give us
stadium.
Vegas. Give us Vegas.
Well, seeing as LA didn't want to participate,
We won Allegiant Stadium.
can you believe that? Guys, let's oh yeah, you mentioned Christian, you mentioned Matt Miazga.
Yeah. So back to the Cincy Philly game, Matt Miazga issued a 3-game ban?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
3-game ban and fine for bursting into the ref's locker room after the game.
Like, what a joke. Like, what kind of stupid decision to be doing that after the game? Like, yes, you got a second yellow card, you got a red card, but that's not something you should be doing after the game, running into the locker room for the refs.
Actually, he never got a red card.
No, he was just suspended.
Yeah, I think it was the second yellow card though. Or
3 games. suspended for 3
it was his So he's suspended currently for 3 games,
Right.
but the original suspension was for 1 game, which was this last game, because he accumulated 3 yellow cards in 2 games, but never shown a red.
That's correct. Yeah, you're right. But stupid decision on his part for chasing after the referees into the locker room.
Now I'm trying to think of this in the with what Dad does. Works with the referees at Rio Tinto. Sorry, not Rio Tinto, America First Stadium.
Get your facts straight.
And I'm trying to think of what it would be like if one of the players just came up, because the referee locker room and the home team locker room are pretty close back there.
Yeah,
that'd be really interesting. I don't know. I asked him the other day what would happen. He's like, that wouldn't happen. Or he's really tight with the security back there. So, weird situation.
Like it's understandable for anybody, fan, or player, to be upset about referee decisions.
Oh yeah,
it's understandable, and but to accost a referee like that, completely unacceptable.
That might be a conversation for another day.
And besides, Matt Miazga, my controversial take, he's not even that good. I think Defender of the Year was...
Yeah, the fact that he won Defender of the Year last year, and he's been kind of, I guess, quote unquote, used to be the face of the U.S. men's national team.
Oh, please.
Everyone.
He did the one good thing about taunting the Mexican player, and then couldn't hack it at Chelsea and somehow found his way back in MLS.
Everyone pull out your Italian hands.
Come on. What are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
We have much better Americans playing in Europe than Matt Miazga was at the time.
It's true.
Yeah, we got Pulisic.
Yeah, we have Pulisic. Let me interest you guys in a little bit of a bracket challenge.
Ooh, am I winning?
Actually, do you want me to share my screen? I will share you my screen.
Yeah, let's see how bad am I winning, or how bad am I losing?
Here we go. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, here we go.
Oh, Mike.
Yeah,
Mike
and Jaden, you're crushing right now.
Yeah, they are. They've been fighting it for the whole time, and let's just take a quick look at their bracket. So Mike's bracket, real quick.
Mike, Houston, Cincy. Ooh, it might happen, Mike.
Yeah,
that was a bold move, thinking. Or actually, that wasn't that bold, thinking that Seattle would beat LAFC. LAFC, historically, they've struggled at playing Seattle, so that was actually a good guess.
Only 2 wrong picks. That's impressive,
right? I mean, it's this St. Louis and Seattle. So
yeah,
there's that one.
We'll
go back to
Jaden's.
Jaden
also only has 2 wrong picks, so
the same ones.
But he's screwed
because of the final.
Yeah, so if LAFC wins and if Columbus wins their game, then he's done for.
No. If Houston goes to the final, period.
Oh yeah, if Houston goes to the final, but also if Columbus goes to the final too.
I already forgot what was the because Mike had Cincy. Oh yeah, because of Columbus, but Mike had Columbus Cincy going to the final too.
Yeah, that's true. But
so
we shall see. They're both battling it out for a T-shirt.
Now, if they're battling out for a T-shirt, now let's get down to business here. Marcos,
there's Sarah.
Oh, there's Sarah. Sarah and myself are tied for 6th. Christian, did you fill one out?
I did not.
Oh,
I forgot.
Okay. Christian would be up there. He would be tied with you.
Maybe. Marcos, let's see how bad.
Let's see. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Your
6,
whole upper
7,
bracket over here is ruined.
You had Vancouver upsetting. Oh, that was a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if that pays off for him. Oh, wait.
That was his 12-5 pick, and the 12 happened to be like Houston State against like some Vanderbilt. I
really thought Philadelphia was gonna pull it out for me.
Oh, and Philly too? Yeah, no, bad.
I was just feeling for Philadelphia as like a sports city because the Eagles are doing bad. Like you got the Flyers or the Phillies are doing bad. So I was like, the
The
union.
Eagles are doing great right now. What are you?
Well, I'm talking about the Super Bowl.
Uh,
Marcos,
They,
your whole Western Conference got screwed.
it's true.
Like, and you're really banking on Columbus, really?
I'm really banking on Columbus right now to win it all.
Look,
oh man.
I
And
pulled it.
honestly, let's be real. I think RSL would have beaten St. Louis in a
Oh
playoff
yeah.
game.
Oh, that's what I had here.
Oh, your final actually might come true.
What do you think? I might win the shirt.
You might win the shirt.
I mean, if that happens, you just need to do a Twitter giveaway for the shirt.
Probably. We'll probably just do that. But I mean, I'm just saying my final is still intact. And I think Sarah's final, let's see. Sarah's final. Oh no, Sarah's final is not intact. I'm the only one that's intact right now.
See,
Me,
Sarah was like me. Sarah and I, we copied each other's brackets. She also thought Seattle was going to go to the MLS Cup.
she also thought St. Louis was going to go to the conference final. Well, there you guys go. There's a little bit of a bracket challenge. That was
Oof.
entertaining.
Well, go Mike and Jaden.
Seriously. Um, let's switch gears here. There's a lot of RSL off-season topics going around. One of which, someone commented today on what we should talk about, and this one actually has me kind of I don't even know what to think, so I'm going to throw it out there for you guys.
Lay it on us.
Mr. at Roberto Hansen said, talk about this. And he put a screenshot of someone else's tweet. Another RSL podcaster who comments a lot. They said the team said the extended Dami, they extended Dami. Okay. So Krylock. Then they said it was actually a club option. And then, in brackets, real conspiracy stuff based on nothing, okay? Based on nothing. Benched him in PKs in favor of Moose, so they didn't trigger the extension a la Javi. And then declined his option. What do you guys think of that? Because you guys remember what happened to Javi, right?
Yeah.
Okay. That was a shame.
Do you think that this is the same situation? The Krylik situation is the same as the Javi situation?
I sure hope not. Like, don't be throwing him straight to the curb like that. But if it was up to me, I would just sign Damir just for one season. I don't want to see him like a long extension because look at his age, 34. Just sign him for a 1 year just to be a little mentor teacher for the younger players like Hidalgo and Nelly, even Luna, and then he goes a separate ways after the season.
My ideal situation, I think, right now for Dami would be a Roy Kent situation.
A Roy Kent situation. Okay.
Roy Kent situation where, I think, maybe you sign him for one more year and then let's keep him with it. He is incredibly valuable to the team. The players respect the heck out of him. They listen to him. They look to him for leadership. I think we do better with him, even just on the bench.
Yeah.
And if we get him really into, and I think he'd be phenomenal in an assistant coaching position.
Yeah, like
we can't squander him like we did Olave. I think Olave got kind of sucked into an inescapable black hole of coaching the Monarchs. We can't let that happen. I do blame previous ownership for that. And Olave, if you listen to this, I still think you're great.
He's great.
He's phenomenal. And to be fair, he's done a great job with the Monarchs. They won a title, and with MLS Next Pro, it's a new, incredibly tough league, and not surprised that any team struggled that first season. But with Dami, I think I think a Roy Kent situation where he has a corner, for heaven's sake, of our stadium, right?
It's
Yeah.
true.
And
Yeah.
so let's keep him on in a coaching capacity, and maybe even if eventually he kind of fades into the background like Tony Beltran did, or Tony Beltran, who was incredibly important to the team, joined the front office and is doing, honestly, the best he can with what we've got.
Yeah,
But
I can definitely see Demir turning into a transition into a coach off the field because he's been a tremendous mentor to these young players and super patient, super loving towards the fans and all of his players.
so back in July, another podcast, the Royal Riot, had a mash. They brought in all the co-hosts and hosts of different RSL podcasts. If you guys didn't listen to that, go listen to it. There's a lot of good stuff that was thrown out there. But they asked each of us for our hot take, and my hot take was exactly about Krylock. It was about Dami. And the hot take was Dami shouldn't and doesn't need to see the field the rest of the season. What happened?
It happened. It definitely happened. He only came in for that one game against Houston in game
He
2 for his PK.
well, that's playoffs, but he did come in minimally the rest of the season. I agree with you guys that he should be in a coaching role and a mentor role. Um, I think his playing career is coming to a close, and he knows that, which is why they declined his option. I I don't think RSL is pulling a hobby situation with and granted, if someone from the front office or Trey or someone is listening to this, we understand what the whole situation is. There's two sides that didn't agree on something. That we
Definitely.
understand that.
Definitely.
But I think that
It doesn't feel the same.
it doesn't feel the same.
No.
Because the other one, Javi, is as much as Krylock has been with us for how long? 6, 7 years. Javi was with us for
Very
10.
beginning.
So it was from 2007 to 2019. So 12
For
years.
12 years.
Yeah.
And to be there for almost the whole length of RSL's existence, Javi is as stable as much as Beckerman and as much as Ramondo.
Mm-hmm.
You can't say Beckerman or Ramondo without thinking of Javi.
Yeah.
So
Javi led us to 2 MLS Cups.
When Inter Miami eventually comes to play in stadium, and if Javi's still on that coaching staff, if he doesn't get a standing ovation the second he walks on to the pitch,
The fans should get booed.
yes, 100%. 100%.
yeah.
No,
So
there's a reason that he has his name up in American First Field. Him and Jason.
yeah, so this doesn't have the same feel. That's
No.
what we're getting at. So I don't
feel
think
any animosity from the front office, the back
No.
office of RSL towards Dami. I think they're just trying to figure out what his role is.
right because right now we're in a crucial growing stage where we got a lot of key players that we needed last season.
Yeah.
And now we're trying to build on that. And the only way to build is to downgrade his contract, that's what we did. We declined the option. And we can't keep paying him DP status. We can't. Because 34 years old and you're not seeing much of the field, it's a waste of a DP slot. So downgrade it. We're obviously gonna have to pay you less, but we want you on the team, kind of thing. I hope something comes out of it. But
Yeah.
with that being said, and since we declined his option, I think a DP slot is open then.
There is.
Where do we look for, what position do we fill in for a DP?
I've mentioned it the past couple episodes, but I think the most important one is another striker because we just got rid of Musovski. Who else do we have on the bench? We got Rubin, Julio, Sava. Who knows how long we'll have Sava? So I think another striker to play alongside Chicho.
Okay, Christian.
That's a tough one. That really is because another striker is needed. Chicho's impact was incredible the team and much needed. But honestly,
I mean,
our back line is for me our biggest needs. I think outside of another killer striker is everything outside of midfield. And outside of midfield and outside of the keeper, I think we're actually good on the keeper situation as well for now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would love. I mean, Andres Gomez needs to grow into his position. He started. I think MLS scared him a bit when he first started playing, and he really didn't ball out like we think and know that he can. Same with Nelson Palacios. And let's be honest, MLS, a lot of people looking outside into MLS think, oh, it's an easy league. And they show up and they're like,
it's a lot of traveling.
It's a lot of traveling, a lot of different altitudes within one league. And the style is just different. Yeah, you do see a lot of crazy shots and goals and things like that. You see a lot of complaints.
Here's my thoughts on why it's so different, why it's so difficult. I think it's because we have a huge diversity of player ethnicities in this league. I think even greater differences than in Europe. Europe
100%.
Europe has already an idea because obviously they've been doing it for 100 plus years, but here we're so new, we don't have an identity. So the identity has to come from where the player comes from. Where the player comes from really determines on how the style of the team is going to play. If you're getting a majority of Latin Americans on your team, you're going to play a Latin American style. If you get a lot of Eastern European players, you're going to play that style. If you get a lot of African players, you're going to play that style. So when you get a player from South America coming on and they're playing with Americans, Europeans, Africans, Islanders, you name it, there's no identity. And so that's why I feel like people get lost in the MLS system when they first come.
Yep. Yeah, you said it earlier back when we signed Chicho, we signed Vera and Gomez and all these other and Nelson, that all of them worked well together because they're all Hispanics. They all have this chemistry.
Not only that, they're all Colombians.
They're all Colombians.
That does help. And you take a look at other people who have come and even greats that have come into this league and have struggled, like David Beckham struggled for a while. Look at Zlatan. This is a hot take I'm about to drop here for you.
Ooh, let's hear it. Let's hear it.
I think Zlatan tuck-tailed and ran from MLS.
That is hot.
Because he couldn't hack it. Yes, he got the Golden Boot one season. That's it. He didn't win an MLS Cup. He didn't win an Open Cup. Didn't win a Supporter Shield. Didn't win anything that actually mattered in a league.
My hands up.
Facts. Like
has he
won anything?
No, he didn't.
He was a lot of talk and a lot of fluff, and when he thought he would come into MLS and completely obliterate the league, scored a lot of goals. Yes, will not deny that he did that because he obviously did. But his time in MLS was a failure, and he ran back to Europe where he knew he would be coddled.
Well, I would say the same thing about all the NYC players too, like David Villa, Frank Lampard. They did the same thing too.
I'm just gonna go back to the Zlatan thing. Besides winning leagues, did he really win? I mean, how many times has he won Champions League? Maybe once with Milan.
That was last year.
No,
wait, Inter won last year.
Inter didn't win last year. I can't remember. City, that's right, City.
City.
No, but I think Milan won it back in like 2012 or something like that. Back then, and that's when he was playing with Milan. But other than that, he didn't win anything with PSG. Didn't win anything with Man U.
To answer your question, he's won 3 Champions League.
Oh, what the heck? With who?
Good for him.
Did it say who?
It doesn't. No. Oh, he won with Ajax.
Oh,
back in like 2003 or something like that, right?
Yeah, correct.
That club is like Borussia Dortmund on steroids for development.
It's true.
Also, shout out to Borussia Dortmund for the awesome victory earlier this week. That made me very happy.
Ooh.
It's it's true. It's true. One
But
position that I
speaking
wanna mention.
speaking of free agencies,
I'm like, wait, I wanted to talk. Okay, never mind. I don't want to talk.
no. I tweeted out yesterday. Gustavo Bo just went on is a free agent, and there was some people that were like, "Yes, we should sign him." No, we shouldn't. I want to get your thoughts real quick, Alan and Christian. Gustavo Bo being a free agent, do you think that would be a good fit for RSL, or just like bag it? We need to go look at somebody else.
Bag it. No,
Bag it.
don't.
He's the thing is with the way turning it back to RSL as we should. RSL is gathering we're like Thanos with the Infinity Stones. We're gathering the pieces for a championship. We are close.
We are close.
Ooh,
We are close. Like,
I
knock on
think
wood.
I like
think
that comparison.
and Bo's he's just too old. If we were to go for an older player of caliber, I would honestly want us to nab one of the a European from one of the top leagues over there who's looking to pull a Messi, still looking to be in a competitive league, but looking to tone it down a bit, which I will say MLS, not a retirement league. I will give that crown to Japan right now.
Or Saudi Arabia.
Or Saudi Arabia.
Saudi Arabia for sure.
But
no, but
MLS
I
is
would
much less high needs or high high
You can do it.
I
I have faith in you.
The demands of MLS, there we go, are not as high as Europe's top leagues.
For sure.
Top 10 league in the world, sure.
I would mostly just want Gustavo Bo just because we need another Argentine on the team.
Well, if you want another Argentine, I mean, pick up like Otamendi or something. What?
Otamendi, I would not say no to that because
he's 35. He's 35.
And he's winning World Cups.
Like, yes, he just had a huge, amazing goal against Brazil.
Yeah, who's that? Who's
but 35 years old. Like, I want a younger defender.
What do you want?
Come on, Marcos. Really? We can't afford young people right now. Young good people.
It's true. They all want the money. They're all too expensive.
I mean, they're expensive. Yeah, you left me speechless.
Let's grab a player that's bouncing around a lot. Let's grab Jadon Sancho from Manchester United, and
let him play for a season, then let him bounce again.
Yeah, exactly. That would be so funny. Could you imagine?
I'm looking at all the Champions League games. I'm trying to find like an old player that maybe we can like pick up and throw him on the team, but I'm not finding anyone, guys.
Nobody in our price range.
Yeah, no one in our price range. I mean, like I said, Otamendi.
None that Don Garber would allow.
Yeah, like how much money is Ryan Smith willing to spend?
Well, he's willing to spend a lot.
Oh, it doesn't matter how much Ryan Smith is willing to spend. Don Garber will block it because it's Salt Lake.
Yeah.
You know about Landon Donovan, right?
Yeah. Landon Donovan definitely should have been playing with RSL.
For those who don't know, those listening and don't know, Landon Donovan wanted to come to Salt Lake and play. He liked Utah. He loved the stadium, the team. He's like, hey, I would actually not mind coming to Utah. And they were getting the transfer underway. And the man himself, Don Garber, came and said, Salt Lake, Landon Donovan, no, too small market. And blocked it. And that's when he went to LA.
Well, that I didn't know. But speaking of player drama, we're gonna move off of RSL because we could talk for maybe another hour about RSL and what ifs.
We definitely could.
But because we have Christian here, we're gonna do a little segment called Manchester United.
Man United, brought to you by Christian.
Okay. Only because 1, you like Manchester United, and 2, we are all Argentina national team fans. Okay.
We are.
We need to talk about
Garnacho.
Garnacho.
One individual and one
Oh
individual
my
only.
gosh.
The goal that was heard around the world.
First off,
What an incredible goal.
yeah.
Oh,
Now,
my-
I gotta ask you, Christian, was it better than Wayne Rooney's?
I would say no because it's not a rivalry game.
I was gonna say
It was
context.
it was
Context
against
is
Everton, who's
everything.
sitting bottom of the table.
Poor Everton. I legitimately feel bad for Everton.
You lost so many points.
Okay, that's a discussion for another time.
We have a lot of
Because
we have a lot of pending discussions.
that is a discussion for another time because City fans should not be cheering that Everton lost 10 points.
That's also true. Yeah, Juve had to experience that last season, and then they got their points back.
Bro, that drama, the Juve drama, was so much. Between March and April, where they lost 15, then they gave him back 10, then they took back the 10, gave him back something else, and you're like, oh my gosh, stop. But anyways, back to Garnacho. Garnacho, golazo. Like,
Beautiful.
absolutely.
And then pulls the Sue like a
Okay. I need you to tell me. I have my opinions and I'm going to tell you them.
Oh yeah, like
But
I
Christian,
think we all got our opinions on this one.
Christian, what is your first reaction with the Sue? That's a really good reaction.
See, here's the thing. He's in a weird Alejandro Garnacho's in a weird position where he has shared a field with the best and another of the best players of all time. And one of those he spent a lot more time with. He spent a lot more time with Cristiano Ronaldo. Just to be completely frank. And that obviously left an impression on him. But let's be honest, who wouldn't?
I mean, he'll leave an impression. Absolutely.
And and want to give him the benefit of the doubt. And as well, I hope for him more than just being like, oh, he's the guy that can't pick between liking Messi or Ronaldo, is that he develops his own identity because he scored that phenomenal goal against Everton. He started what should have been a fantastic game against Galatasaray today with another fantastic goal. He's developing confidence when he needs to and establishing a good rhythm, which hopefully in the future, I would love to see him and Julian Alvarez at the head of a 4-4-2 formation for Argentina.
All right.
Interesting.
All right, because I have some opinions about that too. Marcos, what do you think about this Sue?
Not a fan of it. I loved Garnacho before it. I respect him as a player, but I just think I lost all respect for him because if you're wanting to get called up to Argentina and make it to the national team next year for Copa America, why are you doing stuff like that? Like you shouldn't be doing stuff if Messi is your teammate for Argentina for Copa America. So I don't know.
All
Like,
right, I can see that. I can see that. So here's this. Here's my take on it. Garnacho, I don't. I. I'm just gonna say how it comes out. Not born in Argentina. Grew up in the Spanish culture. I can't remember which of his parents or both of his parents are Argentine. Grew up in the Atletico Madrid system, where it was. I'm not gonna say anti-Messi, but they always played against Messi, so it was always like we need to train to beat Messi. Goes over to England to play with Cristiano Ronaldo. For me, leaving the going to Man U aside, I don't think Garnacho feels as Argentine as he probably thinks he feels Argentine. Therefore, I think that's why his favorite player ends up being Ronaldo.
Yeah.
Only because he's never felt the weight of being an Argentine and I guess supporting and pushing Messi to where he is today. Now, the other half of my conversation would be Should he be called up? I'm not sure, and it's not because he doesn't feel the camiseta. It's not because of that. I think it's because his position is already being filled in with others that already know the system, like Lo Celso, like
Okay.
well, Di Maria is leaving right now, but who else is on the flipping wing? Lo Celso. You have DePaul. You have Paredes.
But it is.
You have. I gotta look up the last game. Flip. I already forgot. Give me 2 seconds, guys, because I had a whole thing going on here. Oh, Enzo Fernandez, McAllister. So I don't see Garnacho even breaking the starting 11. Yes,
No.
I can see him being called up to the 23, but I don't see him being used very often. Only because for him to get in front of McAllister and Lo Celso is really hard. For him to
That's a,
get in front of Nico Gonzalez is really hard. To get in front of Lautaro is difícil.
yeah.
I just spoke Spanish like I was. Shoot.
No. You're exactly right. Like I don't see it happen at all. I don't see him better than those players. Like yes, he's a good player for Man U. He's been scoring amazing world-class goals, but I think it comes down to your attitude and and then trying to and being better than those other guys. So we'll
Christian,
see.
what your last thoughts on this subject?
No, I think that's fair. The Argentina has a very deep pool right now, which is awesome. That shows a maturity of the team. And honestly, except for the goalkeeping squad's gonna be getting old here, which is a worry for the next World Cup. And honestly, some of the striker squad is obviously gonna be old for the next World Cup. But besides that, Argentina's got a fantastic up and coming squad. So it will be hard for Garnacho to find his place in the team, and he may be a Copa America only sort of guy.
And who knows?
Or
Like with the U17 Argentina team, with how far they've gone, unfortunately they lost to
oh,
Germany. Like
stupid Germany.
they got talented players as well
Well,
on that team.
the U20s also have talented players. They have Luca Romero,
Mhm.
that is an absolute star. We can't leave out Almada. Almada is
No,
also on that team. I mean,
yeah,
so there's future. There is a future. Just
future is definitely bright with Argentina, with stars.
yeah. All right. Last subject, and we could be on here for another hour with this one, but we're gonna talk real quick about the Copa America draw next week, and
That's right.
the CONCACAF versus CONMEBOL discussion. We can all agree that CONMEBOL is better than CONCACAF.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Overall, yes.
Okay. Now we'll zoom in a little bit. Is U.S. national team, are they anywhere good? Can they beat anyone from top 6 in
It's
South America?
it's
Top
gonna be a tough road for them to even get out of group stage.
I disagree. I think that they can make it out of group stage. It's knockout stage where they'll struggle again, just like the Centenario.
I mean,
And
Centenario, they had to go against Argentina the first one.
yeah, and I would say that the United States squad is stronger than it was in the Centenario. I was able to see both teams play live in the Centenario. I saw USA versus Colombia, and then the first round of Argentina versus Chile. And yeah, I'm US getting out of the group stage. I think yes, absolutely. Knockout stage, it depends on where they're lined up against. Another first round against Argentina, that's a guaranteed exit. The way Brazil's playing right now,
Yeah.
I could see the U.S. putting up a good fight against Brazil. I'm not saying that
Maybe.
they would. I'm not saying they'd win. I'm not saying they'd win. Do not quote me as saying that the U.S. would definitely beat Brazil. I'm not saying that.
Now,
Um,
I will update everyone on this. Supposedly, the FIFA rankings come out when this episode is released. It would be today. So on the 30th,
Ooh.
the new FIFA rankings are going to be released, and that's what's going to be used for the draw. Apparently,
So
the
you're saying that
U.S.
Argentina and Uruguay won't be in the same group?
Well, this is what I'm saying. Apparently, it's Argentina, Brazil, Uruguay, and the United States snuck into pot one.
That makes no sense. That doesn't make any sense.
They apparently they're gonna drop to 13th, the United
Yeah,
States.
That
still
would
think,
make sense.
I think that should still be either Colombia or Ecuador.
Colombia moved up, but they only moved up to like 15th, I think. Uruguay moved up to 11th. And
Okay.
so that's the supposed. Well, we'll see what the actual rankings are tomorrow, but the US supposedly sneaks into pot one, which means that they are saved from the big three.
Yeah. Hopefully USA is in pot number 2, so then we get a little Argentina USA
I
in
just
group
said
stage.
that the US is in pot one.
Oh, I'm just saying if they do get bumped to pot number 2.
I don't know. I doubt it.
I doubt it because the U.S. is a host as well.
Yeah.
Hosts also tend to get favor for pot
Get a
one
little
in
priority.
any tournament.
They get FIFA'd.
They get FIFA'd, which honestly, in this case, I think would help. It would help the United States with its matchups would make it honestly better for the viewers in general. I don't think it would bode well for the U.S. to flounder in the group stages immediately in the Copa America for
I
a
don't know.
country that's trying to hype up for a World Cup that's happening in 2 years.
I mean, you're not wrong.
We were talking about this last episode. Even though USA is hosting this tournament, I don't see them really having like a home field advantage because we see how strong the fan base is down south in South America. You're gonna have huge fan base with Argentina and Brazil and Colombia. They're gonna be loud.
I mean, if you could hear the Argentina fans from the Maracanã, and there were only like 2,000 or 2,500 of them, and they're the ones that caused the whole fight, apparently, quote unquote.
What do you mean? You don't want the U.S. fans fight and win?
Come on, Seattle.
Oh my goodness!
But I guess we can't say much because Christian, aren't you part of the Sam's army?
Yeah, I am part of the American Outlaws. Mm-hmm.
Outlaws, that's what it is. Ooh, that might be a difficult one for you. If the U.S. and Argentina, well, it's not going to be difficult.
I've done it before.
You've done it before, and it's always Celeste y Blanco.
Celeste Blanco. Yeah. So I found a tweet at Roy Nemmer. He's a pro Argentine reporter.
Yes, he is.
So according to him, the 4 pot, and this is as of the 18th, so this is 11 days old, could obviously be wrong when it comes to fruition. The 4 pots of the 2024 Copa America, pot A, Argentina, Brazil, the USA, and Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
Pot 2 or pot B, Uruguay, Colombia, Ecuador, and Peru.
So how about this one? I got this one for you. There's a website called footballrankings.info who they do all the math that's related to rankings.
Okay.
And they have it all mathed out and everything. So here they have Argentina as 1, Brazil is 5th, so they'd be also in pot 1. Uruguay 11, the USA 13. So there's your pot 1. Yeah. Colombia 14, Mexico 15. Where's the next one? Got to go way down. Ecuador 32, Peru 35.
Yeah, that one makes more sense. I could see that one actually happening.
In fact, I think I tweeted on my personal that same list. Okay, let me find it real quick because this was also interesting for me. I was like, I got to see this. Here we go. So here would be if the list that I've just read off was correct, your pot 1, like I just said, Argentina, Brazil, Uruguay, the U.S. Pot 2, Colombia, Mexico, Ecuador, Peru. Pot 3, Chile, Panama, Venezuela, Paraguay.
Mm-hmm.
Pot 4, Jamaica, Bolivia, and then the winners of Canada, Trinidad, and Honduras and Costa Rica.
Man, can I say I would love to see both Honduras and Costa Rica in this tournament.
But they're playing against each other.
I know.
Yeah.
I feel like they both deserve to be there, which makes like as an outsider looking in, that's heartbreaking to see that matchup before the tournament. In the tournament,
I want to see Costa Rica just because I want to see an RSL player. I want to see Oviedo in the tournament.
They wouldn't call him up. I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No, he's my age. Why would they call him up?
But still, like, why not? Just like his little like going away.
No, you don't. You don't do a farewell when you're in a really important competition.
We could possibly have 3 RSL players in this tournament.
I hope not.
Yeah,
I say I hope not because I don't want to lose them. I don't know if MLS is actually going to take a break during Copa America.
I would assume so. Like
you-
this is a month-long tournament.
it'll be interesting to see how MLS addresses it. They're going to need to. They can't just ignore it.
Be like, oh, we're gonna keep playing MLS while this tournament's going on.
Hey, what are all these Bolivians doing here? Get out of here! Don't you know Cincinnati's playing?
Oh my gosh. Yes, yes. Oh my gosh. Guys, this has been real. This has been fun. I wish we could do this more often. We're gonna have to do this more often. But yes, let's wrap this up. Christian, I know you're all done with your fundraising, but maybe just give a little plug for the fundraiser that you support, and then people can follow along and be waiting for your next your what do you call it? Your
So it's called Extra Life, and I do it. It's an annual thing. And for those who did donate, thank you. I was able to raise. I had a goal of $2,000, raised $2,275, which
yes, nice job.
Whoop, whoop.
Absolutely worth it. And it'll happen beginning of November of next year for year 11. That's really it. All the proceeds go directly to Primary Children's Medical Center here in Salt Lake City. So, it's still staying within the RSL family. But
And how can someone get involved?
extra-life.org. You can find me. I was number 2 in Utah for fundraising.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Way to go.
Number 1 had raised over $6,000. That guy was incredible.
Wow.
But that's awesome.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, extra-life.org. If you want to take a look at that for next year. Oh, it does look like I did drop to 4th, but still.
You made top 5. That's all. That's amazing.
That's awesome.
So that was a wonderful experience. It's an exhausting experience, and looking forward to doing it again next year.
We might have to join and maybe just play FIFA all day.
We're gonna do it. We'll do an
RSL Bros fundraiser.
Yeah, that's true.
We'll do a little FIFA tournament.
There you go. However you want to do it, it's up to you. It really is. It's like a Reese's. You can't eat it wrong.
Oh,
I'm sure there's a way.
You just opened up a can of worms. Ooh.
We're gonna cut this before we get into any more anything. Margos, send us off.
Absolutely. If you guys are not already, make sure you head to Instagram and Twitter and follow us at the RSL Bros. And if you don't want to be watching us right here, head over to Spotify and Apple to be listening to us on the go wherever you are about.
Excellent. I think you did it right this time.
Perfect. Make sure you guys are bundled up tight. There's going to be a storm coming this weekend, so stay warm, drink some hot chocolate, enjoy the winter, you guys.
Christian's going to enjoy the winter.
Always.
Yeah, Christian will be on the ski slope if you guys need some skiing buddies.
I'm not going to be there.
Okay. we'll catch you guys next week. See you guys.
Ciao.
Ciao.